women aren't here to do whatever the fuck men think women are here to do. Fuck 'em. I don't fucking know. At the end of the day, it's like, what do you want? You want a girl with a low body count? Guess what? Yeah, go get it. Yeah. You want a girl who's a whore and will just suck your dick at any point and at the time of day, at the drop of a hat? Guess what? She exists and you can find it. And that's where I find that a lot of people find solace in my content, because I love the arguments. You know what I mean? It's content. It makes the world go round. It's entertaining. But at the end of the day, if people were truly happy in how they lived life, no one would argue at each other. Yeah. But the fact that people are so and it's not like, oh, don't judge, only God. It's not that simple. If people were actually doing the things that make them happy,
yeah, it's just about the
no one would give a shit about any of this.
Well, I mean, you're kind of you're a little bit dismissing. Like, we can have intellectual conversations about these topics, and yes, you're right. At the end of the day, if a woman with a high body count, there's going to be guys out there that don't care. There are some guys out there that don't care. But, I mean, we can also have, I mean, it's even beyond just an intellectual conversation. We can also just say, hey, look, if you choose to partake in certain behaviors, if you maneuver in the world in a certain way, that's going to have consequences.
Yeah, 100%. You know, like accountability. And I know, and I always talk about, I talk about specifically that women, I feel like we lack a lot of accountability just because I'm a woman and I see it and I can speak to women. But who am I to tell a woman she shouldn't? You know what I mean? I feel like the word should is such like a, when you use the word should, you're like, you should, this is what makes you a real man. You should do these things. This will make you a real woman. You should do these things. Where we're creating anxiety and unsettledness and shame and guilt in people for the way that they're living life.
I honestly agree with 100% of the words that just came out of this woman Zoe's mouth. Like, dead ass, like I would never in my life sit here and say that this young woman right here that has not slept with anyone, or this beautiful woman right here that chose to wait until marriage has done anything. Sorry. You're a beautiful woman too.
Thank you.
Pretty lady.
Thank you.
Talk about a pick me, right? I'm just kidding. but no, I would never say anything about their decision. I think that it is your body, and that is a beautiful thing that you've done, even from the opposite perspective of somebody that has done the opposite. I think that's like, if that's what makes you happy and that's what makes you think that, and whether you're right or wrong is not my decision to make, because there is clear evidence that right here sitting next to me to my right that it can work out that way. That's totally your body, your choice. I
just think we should be honest about the consequences.
Of course.
And like that's my only thing is
and
I just
I'm
don't like
owning
lying.
my shit on camera in front of 10,000 people.
I'm not saying you're not.
But I feel like I feel like a lot of comments that you make are geared towards the people that I make my comments geared towards too, right? Like if an OnlyFans girl is like, I deserve a high value man, you know, he shouldn't care about. I'm gonna be like, no, be fucking for real. Like, no, it matters. As someone who's in the industry,
it's not geared towards anyone. It's just what I think.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I really agree with what you said earlier. I've been like listening the whole time, just been kind of quiet, just trying to take in what all of you guys are saying. But like, I agree with you. I really think that we should just let people live how they want to live. Like, at the end of the day, it's not affecting you personally, so I don't see how that's a big issue.
Yeah.
Like, just let people do as they please. As long as it's not personally like getting in your life, then I don't see the issue with it. Like,
yeah, and I just want people to look in introspectively, become self-aware, because a lot of people lack it, men and women.
Look at things from other people's point of view, not just yours.
Yeah. People need to stop shoving it down other people's throats. Like, their view is the only view that is allowed.
Yeah.
Because I don't agree with like Christian views.
I don't have to live my life that way, but I don't give a fuck if you live your life that way if you're not affecting me directly.
Like me.
The bottom line is that values are different from person to person, and value is different from person to person.
Straighten your mind.
So what you may find a high value man may not be what someone next to you finds a high value man. Right? And same with value as a woman. Like, you know, you're saying like, you know, if this woman is a lower value woman because she slept with many people, well, I'm sure that there are many low value women with poor integrity, lack of integrity, bad women, dishonest, who've slept with one man, right? Or none. So it just comes down to the values that you have.
There is nuance, but men generally want the same things and women generally want the same things in general. But there is always going to be nuance.
Guess men generally want a virgin. I didn't know this.
And then we can go into the nuance of where that stems from, but I don't, you know, we're not actually gonna get into that. That's like, no, I mean, but.
Paternity, it stems from paternity because men historically had to make sure that the kids were theirs, and historically we didn't have DNA tests. So if a girl was promiscuous and sleeping around, basically like the man wouldn't know that if the kid was his. So it's not even necessarily something they can like biologically help. Like it's just how they feel about it. And like guys might lie to you about this, but like guys feel this way.
That's great, but guess what? I don't care about those guys. If those guys care about my body count, guess what? That guy is not for me because my life path has not gone down that virgin life path. Those guys were not meant for me. So at the end of the day, that opinion of what men want, I don't want those men. And that's okay. They're not wrong for feeling that way.
Yeah, they're not.
They don't want me, I don't want them. We're cool. Why we gotta argue about it? You know what I mean?
Exactly
like,
why I just,
holy
that's,
shit.
that's what I said
Yeah.
to her. Like, I'm not going to say that because of statistics, you are not going to have a good relationship in the end. I'm not going to
You
say
will
that.
have a good relationship.
I
You'll
don't
have the
know.
relationship you want.
Yeah, no, but like, there's no way to say that. I don't think it's dishonest to make that statement because there are rules. There's always exceptions, and not only that, but everybody is on a different path. And I think, yeah, that's just what I think. I agree with you.
All right, let me get a couple chats. We will come back really briefly to one or two questions I have here. Okay, we have, I'm not going to read that one. That one's kind of mean. Yo, Pimmy Flores, thank you for the 100 man. She isn't there tonight, but is Tara single? I'd ask in person, but I can't. I'm a paramedic from Texas and would love to take her to a baseball game as a first date, 31-year-old, 5'10", Hispanic. Also, would y'all women settle down right now if a man was serious and wanted marriage? Okay, so your boyfriend, kind of complicated thing, who has you currently knocked up, if he proposes to you, do you say yes?
I mean, I think if we worked out our stuff and it was, you know, a pretty healthy relationship for the most part, then I wouldn't be opposed, especially with the fact that I'm carrying his child. So.
Okay. And would you get married right now? Would you settle down right now? No? Huh? You wouldn't?
I'm not ready.
You're not ready?
to get married. Yeah, settle down. I'm not
Kids?
ready.
Ready for kids?
Kids? No, I mean, yeah, not kids either. I have a lot of healing, growth,
Oh,
self-awareness.
Sorry, hold on just a
Or
second.
donated $199.
Hey, thank you.
Pearl, do you think it's hypocritical of you to preach people about settling down, being a virgin, not being career-oriented when you are none of these things? Seems like no one wants this pick-me
Put it-
board.
Pearl, do you want to respond? British voice, by the way.
Is it hypocritical? Probably.
That's it? That's all you got?
No, I mean, like, honestly, I wish.
Most people are
I mean, I wish
hypocrites.
I waited till I was married. Like, I genuinely wish I did. So, like, yeah.
I didn't get all the way. I
could-
didn't get all the way there.
if
I
I
did get
could-
fortunate.
If I could have like did it again, I would have waited. But
Yeah.
you know, I didn't.
Yeah.
But I just think it's like I'd rather be honest to the next generation of women.
Yeah.
That there are like
And
consequences.
like I said, it's just I think I'm presenting a side of the coin that's not often represented, which is just like, man, do I feel like I was very fortunate in, and I think though a lot of it was expectation setting, and this is something that I think younger women especially should probably hear, but when I first met my husband, I told him on the first time we ever went out, I said, I'm not going to sleep with you. I don't want to get married. I don't want to have kids. And if you don't want that, like, I'm not interested. And that's fine, because, like, I don't want to waste your time. I got stuff to do. Like, and if it's not you, I'm going to go meet somebody else. And that was apparently, and I think that's something now, too, when people are looking for relationships, they're really, women, I think a lot of times they try to hide the fact that they do want that. And that leads them down this primrose path of, oh, like pretending like they don't want to get married, pretending like they don't want a relationship. And that just pushes it further and further down the line. And then they turn around, you know, around that like 5 to 7 year mark and they're like, hey, I want to get married. And the guy's like, what are you talking about? You know, you said you didn't care. But then they really do. And now that relationship ends up breaking apart, and then they have to go and find somebody else. But now they're much older, and it gets more difficult, as we've talked about. But anyway, it's an interesting thing. The expectation setting is really important, and the honesty and upfrontness with somebody that you want to be with, and that's regardless of anything.
100%.